that are in this documentary, these are people who are doing things out in the community. These are people who you probably see every day, all day. These people are prominent figures into the community. They either do healthcare, one's a pastor.
The hardest part, I would say, about living out loud is the fact that like, we're not accepted everywhere.
I was watching this television show called Maury, and they had these girls on there, and they said they lesbians, and I think you got the same attributes that these lesbians have. Are you a lesbian? And I'm like, Granny, no, I'm not a lesbian. Like, I would go to hell for that. She was like, all right now. And a couple of years after that, when I was ready to accept it, I went back to my grandmother and I told her, I said, you know, Granny, I do like women and I am a lesbian. And she was like, well, you know I love you, but you know you're going to hell, right? And so she would be the first person that I actually came out to.
I mean, I think the world would be a better place if we all come out, but the truth is not all of us can come out. And so I respect that. But it makes it difficult to date, because when you tell a guy that not only are you gay and not only are you out, but that you work at one of the largest agencies for LGBT folk in the region, and your pictures in the newspaper and your pictures on the wall and your pictures on the website, and everywhere we go someone knows me and wants to shake hands or hug and kiss. How do you be discreet or down low or closeted with someone who is that connected to the community? And so I have to say, being myself, living out loud has had its benefits, but the drawback has been I've been single ever since.
Being married to Darlene is the biggest cliche in the world, because I am truly married to my best friend. And that is a cliche you hear all the time, but I'm living that. I live it.
I started the first DPS GSA, Gay Straight Student Alliance, at Northern, and it left when I left. It ended when I ended, and I'm not sure if DPS has started another one since then.
I want young black men and women who are questioning themselves because of who they are. I want them to see positive role models.
Welcome to the great city of Detroit!
If you lean towards some type of spirituality or religion, have you ever felt like you've had to choose between who you are and your spirituality or religion? To me, I don't think I have to choose. I believe in God, I'm a spiritual person, and hopefully I'm going to heaven, but I don't think if I don't, it's not because I'm gay. So.
I read the Bible in entirety. I did so many things to like try to get rid of this thing, because like my whole foundation, I was told this is one of the worst possible things you could do besides killing someone. And so it took a lot of strength to say, hey, I'm gay, and I had to leave basically like the family and the friend, like, you know, people in my life, that community. I had no support. And I just kind of was like the sheltered little girl out in the world who like didn't know where to go or who to talk to or who to rely on, because it was like everything I had known for 20 years was just snatched out from me. There was no safety net. And then there was times where it was like being young and in the scene and dates falling through and not having a real relationship at 20. A lot of times you just don't have those like serious kind of relationships. It was like I was just so unhappy. You know, I was unhappy not following with my parents. And then it was time my mom was like, you're never gonna be happy if you don't stay with Jehovah in the congregation. And then sometimes I was like, man, is she right? Because I was so unhappy trying to find who I was. And so those kind of things, you know, even to now, I'm 31, I still have struggles with growing up Jehovah's Witness. Now, I don't think that I'm wrong for being a lesbian. I don't think that I'm going to hell or anything like that. But sometimes, like when me and my wife have discussions and she'll ask me my viewpoint or is my stand, when I'm not thinking about it, it automatically is Jehovah's Witness response. And it's just like, what do I believe? You know, like who am I? So now I'm just not really starting a spiritual journey now this late in the game, because my ears would turn deaf to other people's religion. It would automatically in my mind be like, that's wrong, that's false. And when you have those kind of struggles in your foundation, it like rips you up inside a lot of times. But now, it made me be a stronger person now.
Iology Inc., an innovative, navigational, and creative company that works with its clients from the inside out. We believe in walking our clients hand in hand, from concept creation to brand management. Our innovative process assists our clients in conceptualizing, developing, building, rebuilding, or restructuring their lives, businesses, and brands. Are you ready to be seen, heard, and remembered? Contact us at iologyinc.com.
I think that gay experience changed my life and the lives around me is like when you become, more open and honest with yourself and the people that you surround yourself with. The change is pretty much freedom to just be who you are and not worry about what others think of you.
Well, yeah, and that's how it's always been for me because, like we've talked before and I told you how as a kid, everyone's always talked about me being gay. But because, I got along with everyone.
Around a blanket. Like
that's no. That's kid stuff. No, that's just a typical kid. So many kids have gay. No, it's not gay. So many kids have blankets and stuff like that.
No. I didn't have a blanket.
You didn't have a lot of things as a kid. Anyway, I've always just been me. I would go and play hand games with the girls and then I'd cut from that and go and play football with the boys. I've just been me, and even though people have said, oh, Jermaine's gay, and they came up in middle school, I had like 10 or 15 nicknames that all almost revolved around me being gay, but at the same time, I was never ridiculed about it or no one ever bullied me for just being who I was.
You had nicknames?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was the one name. This girl was like, "We're gonna call you Gay Jermaine," and she's like, "It's not like Gay Jermaine, but Gay Jermaine." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." Like we were in class and they wrote down all of the names. It was like 10 to 15 just nicknames. And some of them were different, but some weren't even gay related. It was, but at the same time, everyone was laughing. I was laughing, and it was just regular. So for me,
it's the first time I'm hearing this.
For me, gay hasn't never been an experience. I've just always been true to who I am, and for me, a lot of people have just accepted me as I've always been. So, my life is my life.
And I think a lot of people don't have that, if you will, luxury as far as like actually just being out loud as they are, and not being ridiculed for it, or getting bullied for it. I have not experienced that. I don't think that he has experienced that. And I think it's because, I guess, in a sense, we just really comfortable in our skin and who we were as an individual versus, some people like, just probably over dramatic and kind of, it's sad to say, but bring attention to themselves to that nature, and just, and I think that, what they say a lot of times is it's you put the target on your back, so to speak, or whatever. But if you just be who you are, you wouldn't have to worry about those things.
Don't try so hard.
Don't try so hard, because, a lot of kids do that nowadays.
I can't really be completely sure how my lesbian experience has changed my life. I've often wondered if I were straight, where my life would be, how different it would be. I think for other people, I'm a safe lesbian because when I go out, I don't look like what people expect lesbians to look like. So I'm that friend that people can say, I'm okay with gay people. I'm friends with Nkenge. I've changed other people. My lesbian experience has changed other people in a way that they feel safe and comfortable enough to be around me. So I guess I'm exposed to more people. I'm exposed to people, or people expose themselves to me who normally would not hang out with lesbian women.
I'm very open about who I am. I'm happy with who I am. I really never cared about what anybody else think of me. That used to be my problem But now that I done got older, if I sit up there and worry about what anybody else think, then I worry my brain to death. So I'm happy within myself. I'm open. I would tell a person in a minute, I am a lesbian.
I think my experience as a gay man has probably impacted my life almost more so than being a black man, because one thing that I've learned about people is you build these alliances, you build these, you find these people in the world that you can relate to, but having a different perspective allows you to offer people and challenge people in their thinking. And so some people come to me and think that they have me all figured out, and they say, oh yeah, he's a pro-black man, he's an activist, he's a vegetarian, you know, he does all these things, but then they find out that I'm gay and they're like, oh, he ain't who we thought he was. But the truth is, I'm more than what they thought I was, and I am every bit of what made them interested in me in the first place. But I think my experiences has made me a better person. It allowed me to figure out ways of coping with stress without killing somebody. It's helped me figure out ways of reaching into myself and bringing out the better part of me. I mean, sure, I can be this angry black man, angry black vegetarian gay man on this rampage because everyone agrees that they hate gay folk. I could do that, but I cannot control what people do to me. If you want a gay bash, if you want to shoot me because I'm gay, if you want to call me every name in the book, I can't control what you do, but I can control what I do. And I choose to be a peaceful person. I choose to do what my mother told me, which is treat people better than I wanted to be treated. And I think I've changed a lot of people. I can't tell you how many people, straight men particularly, that I've met that said, man, I was homophobic before I met you. I thought, X, Y, and Z about gay people, but you challenged that. And I always tell them, at the end of the day, I am a man. You can believe whatever you want to believe about gay men, and you can call them punk, fag, sissy, all this, but at the end of the day, we are men, we are human beings, and we want exactly what everybody else wants, and that is to live, be free, and be human.
My lifestyle as a lesbian has changed me because it has really taken me into some very, very dark places in my life, dealing with other lesbians or dealing with the lifestyle, and it has caused me to see life differently. The several circumstances, it has allowed me to grow closer to God, I could say, and in return, to bring my testimony back, it touches the lives of so many other people, and it lets them know that, hey, I can love God and reach out to him and have a relationship with him no matter where I'm at in my life.
I don't think it's because I was married to my son's father, and it was a domestic, very volatile relationship, and then after that relationship I was in a relationship with a woman and it was the same way. I don't see any difference in the relationship. They both have drama, jealousy, affairs, lies, I don't see anything different other than I like women and a heterosexual likes someone of the opposite sex. So I don't see anything different. I think maybe emotionally it's a little deeper.
No, well, like I said, for the people around us, like I said, we can be an example of just how, we're everyday people, and how we're portrayed in the media is so stereotypical, like how all black people are, how we're portrayed on TV. We're just...
All we do is screw and drink.
Right.
That's what they think.
And like little kids,
And like little kids.
Just how we're portrayed, and even at work, sometimes people get off into discussions and I have to stop them and say, look, first of all, it's not like that. They work with me every day, and I feel like I am respected. I don't think anyone has ever disrespected me more than once. So,
yeah,
I just think, for the people around us, we are a shining example of just,
we go through the same thing heterosexuals go through.
Yeah.
Work, pay taxes, go to church.
Right.
The same thing. So
we get no benefits.
We get no benefits of yet, but it's coming.
It's coming.
Once I came out, actually I got outed when I was 19 years old. So it did affect my life in bad ways, since it did happen like with my family members. I had a few male family members who I would say, I guess they felt intimidated or something by me, and took aggressions out toward me and assumed that I want to be like them or whatnot. So there are pros and cons. Like on the good side, I will have people that were just nice to me, you know, regardless, and loving and caring. And then there were people that just didn't care. That just felt like I wanted to be something, or felt like I wanted to be a man. But that's really not the case at all. Like, I love being a woman, and there's nothing in this world that I would rather be other than a woman and myself.
Do you ever feel bad or have negative feelings about who you are? No.
No, I'm good.
No.
What, have you ever?
I never really have. I've always liked who I am. Because of how I've always been, I've always had a ton of friends. So I've always liked me because I'm like, I get along with everybody.
But
the
that makes you
boys
like
and the
yourself because you have
girls.
friends?
Well, yeah, because for me, if I like myself enough and enough people like me, then I'm putting out something good enough that people are giving it right back to me. So for me, that felt good that people are giving me the same love that I gave them. And that did help me to feel good about myself.
I can't help but feel bad about myself sometimes. Anytime I meet a guy that I like, there's a guy that I've been dating off and on, and at Gay Pride, he gave me a hug. I'm sorry, instead of giving me a hug, he shook my hand, but I wanted a hug. It's like, dude, we're at Gay Pride. You can't hug me here, because he's
not out.
That makes you feel bad about yourself.
It made me feel bad about myself, because here's a person that says he cares about me and I care about, but yet you can't even hug me at Gay Pride. And it's like, well, what's wrong with me? Because couple that with everybody saying, oh, you better be in a closet or your life is going to be ruined, or you can't tell anybody this or you can't do that, and you can't
at Gay Pride.
Yeah,
right. That's my point.
Right, because that's the famous
That's my point. But that's my point, is that all these messages that are around us, that even in Gay Pride we can't feel comfortable sometimes. And so I can't help but feel bad about myself because I see these messages. I mean, I had a subscription to Men's Health magazine. Every month I pay my subscription. And every month I got the magazine, and never did I appear in this magazine as a black man or as a gay man. So I emailed them, and they said, because you're not, this is what when I emailed them, they said, because you're not an important enough market.
Elevation Nation Media Group, an entertainment agent for media coverage and access. We create and produce inspired development video and audio content, such as films, short films, documentaries, talk shows, transformational reality shows, radio shows, podcasts, PSAs, commercials, video profiles, and video resumes. Why Elevation Nation Media Group? Because we elevate you by any means necessary. Contact us at www.elevationnationmedia.com.
We are no different, you know what I mean? That just because we love the same sex, like, doesn't mean that, you know, some people, I can't really say that I've ever been, I'm sure I have maybe, but I've never noticed me being discriminated against because I wanted to date another woman, besides, like, you know, the legal and worldly issues. But as far as just people around me, I haven't noticed it. But I don't know, maybe I feel like it will open other people's eyes to just see, like, how it is, because I won't say that I had the hardest. I know there are people out there who had like harder upbringings and just coming out and experiences. Like, I mean, mine wasn't bad at all, but I don't know. Yeah, I want everybody to know that it is okay. Like, in the end, you just got to be yourself. Don't ever try and be somebody else just to make somebody else happy. Because I mean, it does not work that way. Like, I'm happy all the time because I'm myself. Like, you know. So I think that, yeah. Wow.
With everything that's encompassed with Out Loud in the D, I hope that some Republican politician's granddaughter watches it and open his or her eyes to see that we got kids taking their lives every single day, from 12 to 25, killing themselves because they can't be who they want to be, because the stresses from their job or family, whatever. I just hope that somebody could see this and say, you know what, that's my niece or my cousin or my neighbor, and we shouldn't judge based on stereotypes or.
Right. I think just to blast through all the stereotypes, just to tear all stereotypes down, whether it be, you know, about women, black people, gay people, because I guess
especially I hope it. I mean, because we're women, it's kind of hard to put an influence on gay men, but I think gay men have it the hardest of anything in the world. I mean, I think they even have it worse than, and people will probably say I'm a little dramatic, but I think they have it worse than slaves, because they will lose their lives in some instances if people knew that they were gay in their family, you know. So I just hope that
we just tear down stereotypes, and I hope that whenever my niece finds out, my nieces, that
she's gonna say, "Oh, that's her response."
I hope that will be her response. I think that's what I'm saying, is that, and no one makes fun of her because of who I am, or, you know, tries to do anything to her because of who I am. I just want all the stereotypes to be just torn down, and just everybody.
I mean, we've come a long way, even from when I was in high school. I mean, since then, I mean, Ellen has come out. She's even had a huge wedding. I mean, we've come a long way. Just the only thing is like that bothers me is when you look at Wanda Sykes, but when you look at black gays versus white gays, the white gays just come out. It's like no big deal. You know, even Ellen put her job on the line, making millions. But even like Queen Latifah, I mean, I seen her at a club here on 6 Mile throwing dollars and smacking asses, and she to this day ain't came out. When she was at Regine's. I know, but everybody just came out. I mean, but I'm just saying though. I mean, it's just like, it just bothers me that for a young black girl who wants to say, oh, I can look up to, you know, you can say I can look up to a white girl can say a tennis player or basketball player. It's not many black girls that can say they know somebody black and famous who has
somebody black and not out of the closet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I just hope this helps change that.
Right.
Yeah.
What I hope that this documentary would do is to highlight the positive side of the LGBT community. I think that a lot of people have a negative outlook on it. They just think that, oh, it's just sex, drugs, drinking, and, you know, people acting wild and crazy. But I hope this documentary places a positive thought in the minds of people, and to let people know that, you know, it may be our lifestyle, but, you know, we're not all out here wild and crazy. We are making positive impacts in the community, and we are, you know, professional people. You know, we're not bums, you know what I mean? We're not child molesters. We're not predators. You know, I've been told that before. Oh, you know, you have you molested kids? Like, no, why would I? You know, but I'm hoping that it shines the light in a positive way, and and make more people in the world feel comfortable with having a homosexual neighbor or LGBT son or daughter or friend, and not being so like, oof, get them out of here. So I'm praying and hoping that this highlights the positivity that goes on in the LGBT community.
The story that I think would make a difference for people is to dispel the myth that African American LGBT people are not concerned with being married. Having been married before to a man, and knowing that I was a lesbian, it's a long story, and not being married to him in the truth, is something that I would not recommend that anybody do. Being married to my spouse, who is a woman, of course, is I'm living the truth of my life. I love her. We wash our clothes, we cook, we pay bills. We raise children, we have grandchildren. Our life is normal and we're living the truth. And so what I discovered in the difference from being married to her living in the truth of my life, which was different than my ex-husband, was that it was not the truth. It ended in divorce, not because of me being a lesbian, something else. But the most painful thing was that we had children. And divorce, especially when children are involved, is very, very painful. And so to have that marriage based on a lie is very detrimental, I think, to all parties involved. And so I would encourage anybody to live in the full truth of your life, no matter what. I know people who are living, still hiding because grandmama's gonna be mad, and grandmama is 98 years old and you are 50 years old. Okay, so when are you going to live in the abundance and the life that God gives us to live? So if I had to tell the story, the greatest thing about all of this is being married to the woman and the person that I love in the truth of my life.
To tell a story that pretty much relates to somebody who may feel like they don't have a voice. And I just feel like there's a lot of people out there that can't speak for themselves because of the situation they might be in, or they may not feel comfortable being gay right now because of certain circumstances. And I felt that a lot, that, you know, I was pressed to be, I was forced to be straight in certain terms because in my household it was ultra male dominated. So of course, no, we don't have no weirdos or dykes or faggots or whatever derogatory name in our house. So I understand what it's like to be stifled. So if I could help people speak their truth, say what you want to say, when you want to say it, how you want to say it, on the job, off the job, your time, my time, be you. Don't apologize for it.
One of the things that I wonder about as a poet, as a speaker, as a person, some people say that they just want to be understood. And they do things to be understood. They act out when they're not understood or when they're not being heard. And I'm no longer that kind of person. From telling my story, I don't really care if people understand me or understand the black gay experience. But what I do hope is that they do experience me, because I am worthy of living. I mean, with 7 billion people in the world, I'm the only one that is this. And so don't try to understand me, but just experience who I am authentically, genuinely, poetically, creatively, anything with an LY at the end, because that is the essence of who I am. And so I hope that people can experience that and somehow allow others to experience their authentic selves. And I think once all these authentic people, 7 billion authentic people, send that energy out in the world, it will move mountains, as they say. And I think we will uncover what we're intended to be. Oprah Winfrey has a quote that says, the whole point of being alive is to evolve into the complete person you were intended to be. Every moment is that opportunity to do that. Whether I'm talking to you, whether I'm writing a poem, whether I'm just sitting here looking at the water, it should lead to something better. And I think if we focus on that, rather than hating each other, rather than judging each other, I think that is when we have reached our full potential.
In sharing my story, I hope it reaches someone who's having a difficult time with being gay. I'll share my story that when I was 16 and 17, every single night I would cry and beg God to be straight. These kind of emotions can cause children to abuse drugs or want to commit suicide or things like that. I hope just sharing my story, especially reaching out to a Jehovah's Witness that's struggling with coming out and being able to make that disconnect. I hope they can see my story and just find support and see that, you know, I came out okay, I came out all right, and that you can too.
Telling my story, hopefully to let people know there is a second chance in life. Not only that it's a second chance in life, but it's okay to be who you are, whether you straight, gay, bi, transgender. If you a person to be who you are, a person will accept who you are. But if you're trying to do other things, then people gonna look at you different. You wonder why they talking about you. But if you're a type of person that's you yourself, and that's who you are, and you've been who you are, then your title will go a long way.
I'm sorry. I can identify basically with what each of you have said, because on the one hand, there's a part of me that wish I could have embraced who I was at a much younger age as a teenager. But on the other hand, because of the experiences that I've had, including marrying a man and having children and all of that, I do feel that is a part that has made me who I am. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if I hadn't gone through all of the specific experiences that I have, who would I be? And just like you said, I would have had a group of different experiences and probably would want to change some of those if I could. So I'm feeling grateful and being able to embrace who I am today and the person who I'm going to be tomorrow that I'm not familiar with yet.